I told you. I told you Raw would suck on Netflix. I told you it was a terrible idea. I told you this a year ago, and somebody said to me, wow, this video is weird. When I said that in the video, they said, wow, this video is weird. Is the video weird now? I told you Raw on Netflix was a terrible idea. I told you Triple H was probably just trying to sucker us in, and we fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. He said all that shit to make you think that it was going to be edgier. Oh, yeah, we can do more things on Netflix. If the fans want to chant holy shit, they can chant holy shit and all this. But they don't need Netflix to chant that. They already chant that on regular TV. I knew the shit was gonna bomb. The reason I haven't been making videos about this is because I think my time is valuable. And I could really give a shit about WWE. I told you it was gonna be a piece of shit. But all the marks on Twitter, they're all like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That's what one of them said to me. You don't know what you're talking about. And they all believe that lie. WWE is hotter than it's ever been. It's hotter than it's ever been. Then why are the fucking ratings sinking? Why? Let's talk about the first episode of Raw on Netflix. The Rock comes out. Well, first of all, before The Rock, Triple H basically tells you wrestling is fake. He tells you this. He mentions the word kayfabe. Why the fuck would you do this? Why? Why does WWE insist on destroying the product? I don't understand it. And then they expect us to stick around for it. I told you back in 2018 that when you reveal too much, you kill the product. It's like taking your child to a magic show and then showing him how the fucking trick is done. It ruins it for him. He's supposed to believe that magic is real. That's the point of the fucking show. We are supposed to suspend our disbelief and believe that this feud is real. And believe that Austin and Rock really do hate each other. That Kurt Angle and John Cena really hate each other. That Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns really hate each other. Or Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar really hate each other. Or whoever. But instead, they keep saying, hey, remember, it's fake. And they expect you to stick around. This is the worst road to WrestleMania I've ever seen. Nothing about this screams road to WrestleMania. But let's go back to The Rock. I almost forgot about that thought. He comes out on the first episode of Raw on Netflix, and all of a sudden, inexplicably, he's a babyface now. He's a good guy. And he's talking about this thing that the Samoans do when they go, chee-hoo. I think either he did that on Raw or NXT, but does it really matter? Now he and Cody Rhodes are best friends. But anyway, let's get back to the road to WrestleMania. They promise you all this shit. Oh, it's going to be better than the Attitude Era. It's going to be better than it's ever been. John Cena comes back and he says, the last time is now. And John Cena stayed true to his catchphrase. You really can't see him. Where is Cena? He's nowhere to be found. What kind of retirement tour is this? What is this? If Raw and WWE is better than it's ever been, why the fuck are the ratings going down? I keep saying this. WWE is just like Halloween. They promise you something and they hype it up, and they hype it up only for it to fall flat. Just like with the Halloween franchise, with the latest 3 movies. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be better than the first 8 movies. It's going to be so good. Choose your own adventure. Every time Michael Myers kills, he gets stronger. Even though in Halloween Ends, he was a weak old man that got his ass handed to him by a teenager named Corey Cunningham, who had nothing to do with the franchise. They just put him in there just because. That's the same way WWE is. Oh, it's going to be better than it's ever been. It's going to be better than it's ever been, even though the ratings keep sinking. Halloween does the same thing with the new Michael Myers website for all you Michael Myers fans that are on my channel. Oh, the Halloween portal. The Halloween portal is going to be the premier destination for fans. It's going to be the premier destination. And look at that place. It's dead as hell. There's no life on that website. Because all they did was hype it up, just like they're doing with WWE, man. Let me tell you, it's going to be better than it's ever been. It's going to be better than it's ever been. And we're on the road to WrestleMania, and what's happening? Not a fucking thing. Nothing about this year screams WrestleMania. Nothing about this year makes me say, oh man, I just have to watch WWE this week. Nothing says that. Let's talk about being mainstream, because back then, WWE was more mainstream, even though they claim it's more popular now. Ironically, when I was younger, people would be walking around the school and they would say things like, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. Even I did it as a grown-ass man. I remember turning 18. And my cousin was walking me to the store. And even as a grown-ass man, I looked up into the sky and I said, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. And I know I probably embarrassed the shit out of him. Because we were outside. We probably had people looking at us. That was back in 2004. When The Rock was on his way out of WWE. You had people back then playing the DX music, doing the Stone Cold thing with the beer and all that. I had a friend do that in 2002. He took 2 of his milk carton things and banged them together, like Stone Cold does with the beer. WWE was more mainstream back then, but it's more popular now, if that makes any sense. I remember having a doctor's appointment and I was in the waiting room and I mentioned The Rock, and this old guy turned around and he said, oh, are you talking about that wrestler? That was in the year 2000. Nobody talks about Cody Rhodes. I can go to a school and I'll bet you nobody's talking about Cody Rhodes. You don't see anybody going, whoa! Or you don't see anybody going, I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth freaking Rollins. Like, nobody does that. Nobody's walking around pretending to be Seth Rollins. Back in my day, people actually pretended to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. People pretended to be The Rock. I remember I rock bottomed my brother. Even though I'm in a wheelchair, I would still try to do the rock bottom from my wheelchair. I would just take my arm and wrap it around him and act like I'm slamming him, and he would jump up to make the slam look real. I can almost guarantee you nobody's pretending to be Seth Rollins. Nobody's pretending to be Cody Rhodes. No little kid is walking around going, "Hey, teacher." And the teacher goes, "Yes, Timmy." And then the little kid goes, "Acknowledge me." Nobody's doing that. Nobody's pretending to be Drew McIntyre. What the hell is Drew McIntyre's character supposed to be anyway? I mean, yeah, I like his heel turn and all that, and I like the chip on the shoulder thing, but what the fuck is a Scottish psychopath? What is that? What is a Scottish warrior? What is his character? What happened to the New Day? They dropped the ball with that. What the fuck happened to the New Day? They come out there and they wait for the audience to stop booing them. You don't wait for the audience to stop booing you. You just talk over them. If they don't listen, you make them listen. Did Becky Lynch wait for the audience to let her talk? No. She made them listen. And now she's one of the hottest female stars ever. She didn't wait for them to stop talking. Charlotte Flair's walking around going, "But I love you guys, I love you." No. You make them listen. Stone Cold Steve Austin got booed in 2001. Do you think he waited for them to stop booing? No, he made them listen. People are booing Dominic Mysterio and he lets them do it. No, you make them listen. Even when CM Punk turned heel in 2012, I thought he was an interesting heel. I liked him because he was crazy. He was psychopathic. The dude was delusional. He lost his mind. And I got news for you. CM Punk, he might have been inspired by other people, but he was still his own character. You'll say, okay, what was CM Punk's character? He was an anti-authority figure. That was his character. He was almost like a cult leader when he did the straight edge society thing. That was his character. What's Kevin Owens' character? He doesn't have one. Nobody has a character. All they do is rip off stars from the Attitude Era. Look at Kevin Owens. His finisher is the Stone Cold Stunner. Look at Seth Rollins. His finisher is the pedigree. There's nothing original about anyone in WWE today. And yes, Becky Lynch ripped off Stone Cold and The Rock. I'll admit that. But you know what? At least she made it work for her. That's why she's where she is now. I told you Raw on Netflix was gonna be a piece of shit. I told you, but no. Oh, it's the best thing ever. It's the hottest thing ever. WWE is hotter than it's ever been. It's going to be better than the Attitude Era. And I knew that was a joke. That's why I told you, they're just like Halloween. The people at Halloween did the same thing. Oh, the Halloween portal, the new Michael Myers website, it's going to be the premier destination for fans. It's going to be the premier destination for fans. And what has it delivered? Nothing. My two favorite entertainment entities, Halloween and WWE, both of them are filled with empty promises. That's what they are. Both of them claim to want to do something different, and they claim to want to get away from the past, but what do? They both latch on to the very past that made them famous in the first place that they want to get away from? Let me explain. First, I'll start with WWE. WWE is like, oh, we want to get away from the Attitude Era. We're not like the Attitude Era now. We're a family business. We're a family product. But every time you turn around, they're making a documentary about the Attitude Era. The very thing that they claim to denounce. The very thing that they're trying to get away from. Let's be real here. The Attitude Era is the only reason they survived. Let's keep this shit real, because what was the Ruthless Aggression Era? The Ruthless Aggression Era is just the Attitude Era 2.0. The Ruthless Aggression Era only happened because Stone Cold Steve Austin walked out of the fucking company. Let's keep this shit real. So Vince McMahon had to come up with something else. What was he supposed to do? He had to move on. He lost two of his biggest stars in 1 year, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Both in 1 year, gone. So he had no choice but to come up with something new. And now, even though this video is not about Halloween, but since I brought it up, let's mention Halloween. What I meant is, Halloween does the same thing. They'll say that they want to get away from the past, and they will try to distance themselves from the very thing that made them famous in the first place, which was the older movies, the first 8 movies, 1 through Resurrection. Every time they want to sell merchandise, what do? They go right back to the first 8 movies. Just like WWE. Oh, we want to get away from the Attitude Era. But then every time you turn around, they're making a documentary about the Attitude Era. Every time they make video games, what do? Put people in there from, guess where? The Attitude Era. Because deep down, WWE knows that the Attitude Era is the only reason the company is alive. Just like deep down, the people that make Halloween know that without the first 8 movies, there would be no Halloween today. Stop me when I'm telling lies. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't agree with CM Punk's religious beliefs, but as far as wrestling goes, I agree with him. So I'll quote him, stop me when I'm telling lies. I want to know, what lie have I told? Stop me when I'm telling a lie. Both entities are filled with empty promises. Halloween promised that this new trilogy was going to be so innovative. Choose your own adventure. What happened? They failed. Just like WWE, Halloween refuses to put over new stars. They had a bright new star. And what did they do with her? Not a fucking thing. They didn't put her over. Just like in WWE. John Cena comes back for the retirement tour. What are they doing with him? Nothing. No Roman Reigns, no John Cena, no nothing. And the Judgment Day is a joke. The Judgment Day isn't even worth mentioning. They're a bunch of grown-ass men that sit in a room that they call a clubhouse at that, and they play video games. Let that sink in. A bunch of grown men in a room playing video games, calling their room a clubhouse. Let that sink in. I'm out of here, man. I've already proven my point. WWE's a fucking joke at this point. I told you, I knew it. I told you Raw on Netflix was gonna be a joke, and I was right. I have nothing else to prove. Thank you for listening. Please be sure to follow me on all forms of social media at the MyersFan25 and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Thank you for watching.